Once upon a time, there was a mask that made you turn green, unattractive, but also made you have pretty cool powers. Here's the story about the time Jim Carrey got his hands on the mask. And that's why today in Flick Summary, The Mask. The film opens with bank clerk Stanley Ipkiss, Jim Carrey, as he bumps and struggles his way through life. Riddled with bad luck, Stanley is constantly looked down upon by his coworkers and boss, as his luck with the ladies is as bad as it can get.
That's rough, buddy.
In short, he has a boring, very much below average life. However, his luck is soon about to change when he meets the stunning Tina Carlisle. Whew. He meets the blonde bombshell while working a shift at the bank. She seduces, bats her lushes, flirts, and in a very not discreet fashion, Tina shows her attributes to the absolutely dumbfounded and flustered Stanley.
Are you flirting with me?
Of course, as you might have guessed, Tina had some ulterior motives while she was smooth-talking the naive Stanley. Poor boy. While Stanley stumbles upon his words and is completely unable to keep his composure, while Blondie flirts her way into the bank. Tina, ever the scoundrel, takes pictures of the bank to give her mafioso boyfriend, Dorian Tyrell.
Why are you doing this?
While Stanley is too blind in love to even pay attention. Right before his luck turns around, in less than a day, poor Stanley gets scammed by mechanics while they basically tear to pieces his Honda Civic and is humiliated by bouncers in a club as they quite literally throw him out. As he mopes about his life when walking alongside a bridge, Stanley is certain there's a dead body in the water. Without a second thought, our boy Stanley throws himself in the river in an attempt to rescue the drowning fella. As it turns out, nobody was in the water. It was just a mask floating aimlessly about. Just another sprout of bad luck for poor old Stanley.
Oh no, not again.
Or so you think. Depressed and exhausted, Stanley takes the mysterious mask home as he curiously inspects it. Compelled by the enigmatic object, Stanley tries it on, but things certainly don't go as expected.
That's not what I had in mind.
The mask quickly takes control of Stanley's body, turning in an almost cartoonish, bolder, and more confident version of himself.
It's party time!
Not only that, but the masked Stanley, with an eccentric attitude and fashion sense, is a bit of a criminal and a vigilante, if that makes sense. Oh, did I mention the mask gives him superpowers? As in shape-shifting, super strength, making things appear out of thin air, lethal weapons included, and super speeding in tornado form. Pretty sick if you ask me.
Because I think this is pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Desperate and thirsty for revenge, Stanley seeks the scamming mechanics that wrecked his car and decides to take justice into his own hands. He essentially does some illegal things that might be best not to mention if we want to keep the channel at least a little family friendly.
Alright then, keep your secrets.
The following morning, Stanley, now his usual human self, is confused about the events from the night before and is convinced it was just a strange but rather vivid dream. Not too long after, Stanley faces cold hard facts when he opens the door to a policeman, asking questions that are eerily similar to the events of the night before. Upon realizing the truth, Stanley gets rid of the mask, throwing it out the window, never be thought of again. But things are never that easy, are they? The mask breaks all laws of physics and gravity and promptly returns to Stanley's apartment, possessing him once again.
It's party time!
This time, our leading man, under control of the not-so-nice mask, breaks into the bank he works at and steals more money than he can count in order to get into the club of the night before, where Tina, the girl who stole Stanley's heart, works at.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Funny enough, Tyrell, Tina's mafioso boyfriend, is also planning to rob the same bank. Talk about tough luck. When learning that someone got ahead of him and executed his plan first, Tyrell is livid and thirsty for revenge. While in the club, Stanley is enthralled by Tina as he joins her on stage, dancing along with her until he ultimately steals a kiss from the lovely lady. Now, even more enraged, Tyrell and his goons pull a gun on our masked fella, but don't cause any damage, you know, superpowers and all. The police quickly arrive and break off the armed violence before it can escalate further, arresting all parties involved, except for the mask and Tyrell, of course. Upon finding one particular tie, similar to the one Stanley wears, the lieutenant begins suspecting our main guy.
Well, that's just great.
Surely enough, the fingerprints found in the scene match Stanley's, but the mask and Tina managed to get away. Now, packing quite a few patrols and backup, the police actively chase Stanley, hoping to catch him in one of his antics. Fully prepped for the standoff, Stanley preps himself for a fight like no other and decides to dance? Originally, we were weirded out too, but once the police joined the mask in his suave moves, we understood it was part of a diversion. Stanley manages to get away from the cops, but his luck only lasts so long when the bad guys finally catch him. Now at the mercy of perhaps the worst of the two evils, Stanley hands the mask to Tyrell and gives away the only source of power he had to a mafioso guy who is dating the girl of his dreams. Ouch.
No question about it, I am ready to get hurt again.
Tyrell doesn't miss a beat and tries on the mask immediately, providing an unsettling physique, far worse to the one Jim Carrey wore. I mean, Stanley. Oh, but it doesn't end there. Tyrell goes to the extra mile and hands Stanley over the police, giving him the mask to prove he was indeed the culprit.
I'm gonna kill myself!
The next day, poor Stanley is at a county jail, without much recollection of anything, but still definitely perked up when noticing Tina had gone to where he was held to visit him. There, Stanley warns her of the powers the mask has and how they can be an unsafe environment for her. Noticing he was telling the truth, Tina makes the decision of leaving both Tyrell and the city in order to get as far away from him as possible.
Good girl.
Unfortunately for Tina, as soon as she leaves the jail, she gets followed by Tyrell's goons. True to toxic boyfriend nature, huh? From his window, Stanley managed to spot Tyrell and the gang cornering poor Tina, but was unable to do anything about it given that he was, in jail. However, Stanley's loyal friend, his dog Milo, was able to sneak through the windows and steal the key that was locking Stanley in from a sleeping guard, effectively freeing our main guy from the prison cell. Dogs truly are man's best friend, aren't they?
I love dogs. I've always loved dogs.
While sneaking out of the cell, Stanley steals a gun and holds the lieutenant captive, profusely apologizing as he does so, of course. Together, they head to the club Tina works at, where the final showdown between Tyrell and Stanley will occur.
Kill him. Kill him now.
Our unlikely hero deduces Tyrell will be there, as a phony fundraiser for war heroes was taking place at said club, hosted by our bad guy, of course. It really doesn't take much to figure out Tyrell was planning to keep all the money for himself. Stanley arrives at the club with one goal in mind only, saving Tina from the gang and evil Tyrell.
Kill him. Kill him now.
As you may have guessed, Stanley isn't quite as powerful as he once was without the mask, so he is quickly apprehended and once again humiliated by Tyrell, who has the power of the mysterious mask in his favor. Once he was done with the fundraiser and Stanley, Tyrell intends on exploding his club in an effort of not leaving any trace behind. Now that his girlfriend was going to leave him anyways, why not just tie the explosives to Tina, right? Sounds absolutely sane, right?
Are you out of your mind?
Tina uses her charm to her favor and asks Tyrell for one final kiss to remember the man she once fell in love with, but without the mask. We love a strategic girl. Compelled by her beauty, Tyrell wholeheartedly complies and removes the mask as he gives Tina a rather naive kiss. Tina uses his weakness to her advantage and kicks the masks away from Tyrell. You go, girl! As the mask flies away and the gang members struggle to catch it, only one was worthy enough to wear it. Without any attempt of catching it, the mask lands on Stanley's dog, Milo. Yes, the only worth one.
I love dogs. I've always loved dogs.
Milo turns into a rather petrifying version of himself and doesn't take any effort whatsoever to scare the goons away. Loyal to his master, Milo destroys and bites anyone who dares to come near Stanley as the two best friends share a delightful hug filled with puppy kisses. Stanley removes the mask from Milo and takes it for himself, now having the power he was missing to annihilate everyone in the club and save Tina.
Did you miss me?
I guess not.
As anyone would, Masked Stanley takes out every possible gun you can think of and fires away at everyone and everything. In case you forgot, there was a ticking time bomb tied with Tina and bound to explode in less than 10 seconds. Of course, the next logical step for our possessed Stanley would be to eat the bomb and burp a small cloud of smoke afterwards.
That's a spicy meatball.
Makes perfect sense to me. If you thought Stanley was done, think again, we still have Tyrell to go. With a paintbrush, our hero draws a toilet handle and flushes him away, quite literally. Seems like a bit of an easy kill, but I guess he doesn't want to scare his girl away. At least he can claim the victory, huh? Right after he is done, the police arrive and are ready to take everyone in custody. But one officer who witnessed the entirety of the event profoundly refuses to take in our hero, as he saw Stanley saving the day and flushing Tyrell away.
Thank you for your cooperation. Good night.
Must have been quite a sight. Now that everything is done and over with, Stanley, Milo, and Tina want nothing to do with the evil almighty mask and plan to throw it away. Stanley brings his best friend, not referring to Milo, disappointing, to the ride as they heroically throw the mask into the very same river they found it in. As Tina and Stanley walk away from the scene, our guy's best friend jumps into the water in an effort to retrieve the mask and have the powers to himself. Of course, Milo is quick to react and once again gets it away from an unworthy owner.
You're my best friend.
And that's all for today. Make sure you stay tuned as we'll be doing The Mask 2 very soon. For now, let us know in the comments what you thought of this movie, and as always, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and share it with your friends. See you next time!